Hi, Phoebe.
Hi.
Oh
That
my
was
God, you
fun.
look so amazing.
You look
Congratulations on
amazing always.
on the pregnancy. And I
Thank you.
thought it would be so good for us to just have a quick catch up since we have that upcoming challenge with NHC. I've
Yeah.
really been wanting to have just a quick chat with you and just hear about your journey because there's been some time passed since you started this program, you and your husband Josh, and a lot has changed, a lot has happened. So yeah, kind of like an update, but also a bump date since you are expecting. Um, so yeah, before I start though, I wanted to say, so everybody, just a background. Phoebe and I have been in the business as Naked Health ambassadors together for almost a year. And we kind of met from mutual interests, having the same values and lifestyle choices, kind of the more holistic and conscious lifestyle choices on how we raise our family. So we've been really well suited doing this business together and just being on this journey together. And recently, Phoebe has also met an amazing challenge in her business. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mia keeps sending me text messages.
Oh, sorry. Just tell me if you
God.
can't hear me, okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
So I wanted to say congratulations on re-promoting your business as well this last week. That's a huge,
Thank you.
huge achievement. So congratulations on that. That's a big challenge to basically can you mute it?
Is it loud on your end?
It's loud, yeah. Now I'm hearing it. I wasn't hearing it before.
Oh, she's just said, I can see the drop down. It's just like the goss. She's like, oh my God. And it's just like, instead of sending one message, she sends little bits at a time. Yeah, thank you. I learned from the best. We'll try and keep going. If she doesn't stop, we'll have to restart.
Yeah, no worries. And I could probably edit it out, or if anything's weird, I'll just edit it out to make it
Flow.
Flow. Yeah, so congratulations on re-promoting your business this past week. That's amazing. It's a wonderful challenge to have met because you also collected some bonuses for yourself. There's actually a little backstory on how that has been. Obviously, it's great to always get a bonus, but I'd love to hear a little bit about how that was in the past week for you meeting that challenge.
It was amazing. I actually made 2 bonuses in 2 weeks.
Wow, congrats.
Because one of my beautiful teammates got a promotion, and I didn't realize that for helping her get there, I got a bonus as well as her. So I ended up getting just in bonuses $600 on top of, regular pay, and that was phenomenal. So at the same time, Josh was he was already resigning. He'd lined up another job, which is another blessing that we owe a lot to this business for, is because he's been able to step into a role that pays less and he's home every night for the first time in like 5 years. But he put in his notice, so it was still going to be over a month till he finished up. And then they required a test. He hadn't been in any hotspots. He wasn't high risk, and he does have a lot of sinus and septum issues, and he was really uncomfortable with that. And they couldn't produce any actual documentation to say this is where the directive has come from and this is what's happening. So he declined, and they basically said, well, you're going to have to be stood down now with 2 weeks pay. And we checked, just being, what we're like, what I'm like. Straight away I spoke to Fair Work, New South Wales Access, which is the law access through the New South Wales government, and a lawyer. And verified 3 times over that what they did was illegal, and there's literally no orders mandating him or truck drivers similar in his position to do that, what they were doing. So anyway, he graciously accepted, because we knew we had some backup, and that's just not in alignment with, we just felt that was really wrong anyway. And he was able to come home, and then I had this bonus money sitting there to help carry us through this time. And that is, I can honestly say, every month and every bonus that I've received since, shifting from customer to ambassador has just fallen into our lives like that in the most perfect timing. So I'm just reminded all the time what a gift this is and how awesome it is. But yeah, that was crazy perfect timing and very, very much appreciated. But
wow, yeah, definitely. I can just imagine the extra relief that would have brought during a time when, you would have been feeling really bad about being forced out prematurely. So and that's what we love about this business, is that we always seem to find a way for it to not just fit into our lives, however chaotic, however busy, however dynamic and evolving it is, but on top of that, there's ways we can reach for more, even by surprise, right? So that's really good. So just real quick, regarding the program, now you've been on the program so that's the Naked Health program, for over a year now, you and Josh. Can you just tell us a little bit about what it was like just before starting, and where you're at now?
Yeah, so I love the business side of things. Obviously, we could talk about that all day, but the whole way this started was because I wanted to give the nutritional support a go. To be honest, I wasn't even anywhere. My brain didn't even comprehend that we had a program. I was just like, let me try these products, let me see if it helps, because I was at such a low point physically and with my health. Yeah. Daddy's talking to you. All right, tell him I'll be there in a minute. Sorry. And we'd months prior, my health got so bad that I ended up having a miscarriage. It was just off the 12-week mark, and it caught us by surprise. It was quite traumatizing. It was like an experience that was really eye-opening for me, because as horrific and near death and violent as the whole experience was, I did have a medical team that rallied around me when I woke up, and were really concerned and supportive, and able to provide some counselling in that moment, because I was quite shaken and just, what the heck just happened? But they told me, this happens to 1 in 4 women, like this. This is what it is. This is a miscarriage. Yeah, and this is the unspoken, secret among women, that it is so common and it is so brutal and heartbreaking. So dealing with all of that, I lost a lot of blood. I actually went into hypovolemic shock before I even made it to a hospital, and because I was hemorrhaging, and I collapsed, and that it required multiple blood transfusions and iron transfusions, and they tipped the bed upside down before they could operate on me, trying to bring my blood pressure back up to just 80, and that's as high as it got. They could only get me to 80, because that's like the bare minimum to operate on someone. And even with all that, all the infusions and the work they put in, and the subsequent recovery, my iron and such never came back up. It felt like I was permanently dead. And I'd always struggled with anemia and everything like that, and I was always very skinny. It was funny, I look back at our launch video when we launched the business, and I was so excited and vibrant, and you could see my energy. I was so energized, but I was so skinny. I was borderline anorexic. I couldn't believe how skinny I looked still, and I thought I was great then. Now, obviously, unexpectedly, we gave away all of our baby things, everything. It was not even remotely a thought in our mind that we'd be back here again having another beautiful child, but we are. And I've only got about just over 6 weeks to go. So the new NHC challenge, we always jump on board with it, but this will coincide with this last stretch of pregnancy and hopefully see me into a good energized birth and breastfeeding transition. But I've had all my serum levels checked, and obviously been going to appointments and just keeping an eye on my health and making sure baby's doing okay, and everything's better than okay. It is beautiful. It's so good. And not only am I pregnant, which would normally see me depleted, at the bare minimum have low iron, but I'm like perfect, and I'm growing this perfect human. And to me, that's mind-blowing. Like 6 years studying nutrition, 6 years going down our holistic path before this, and doing detoxes. We had a cupboard full of supplements, a family nutritionist. I was so I see now how stressed out I was trying to maintain that lifestyle. And it's just astounding to me, since slipping into the program and just sticking with the most simple products, that my health is better than it's ever been in my entire life, just because of the whole foods. That's it. So, my story may not be typical, but for me, that's astounding, because I have measurable results in my blood work and in my hormones in my life. And the fact I'm having this baby now, just after starting the program, obviously I fell pregnant. So that's been, for where I was, it's pretty astounding really when you actually think, to simplify the answer, where I was grieving and just run down and empty and dead. That's honestly where I was. I couldn't feel, I could not get motivated. I couldn't think straight. The brain fog was crazy, and I was so tired from pretending that I was okay. And now I'm just so level and at peace and content and awake. Even this morning, I got up at 4:30 a.m. because I was uncomfortable and irritated. But I wasn't angry all day because of it. I smashed the day. I went for a walk. I had breakfast. I was just stuff it, may as well get up. Even that shift in the mindset to me is just unbelievable, speaks volumes.
Wow, amazing. And so by the way, I wanted to highlight that you have that background in not just your own personal health journey, but you've studied clinical nutrition. So having come from actual, that professional, scientific and objective approach looking at nutrition, when you came across these products, they made sense to you.
Yeah.
And now you've had this almost a year experience with it. Even as a professional, what would you say about, the products in the program and why they can bring that level of value?
Yeah, well, from everything I've learned thus far, it was initially driven by my passion and my desire and desperation to heal and help my children. And then it grew from there, because it was obviously meant to be, for whatever reason, in whatever way I was going to get there. But I loved it. But what I will say about Juice Plus and the NHC and just these whole food products was, it still wasn't how I was taught. So when I looked at the science and when I looked at the products, it made sense. But it took me some time to actually bother looking at the science and looking at the products, because I just thought nothing can be that easy. Yeah, right. I just thought, why don't I just eat fruit and veg? Like, I just didn't get it. Now
I know, that's a huge
yeah.
objection, is people like, well, I'd rather just eat more fruits and vegetables, and
Yeah.
that's the
But the
lazy
thing
way to
is,
do
like,
it. Yeah.
you're not gonna. Like, you're not. You can choose. And like, the thing is, it's funny though, because the catch-22, like the funniest thing of all is, since incorporating this, basically, like, to get my head around it, or to get someone else's head around it, the best way we can describe it is just juicing simplified, without the mess, without the wasted produce, without the effort. We're just juicing that organic produce. We're just getting it straight into our bellies every day. And it's funny because building from that, you actually do start eating more fruits and veg. Your body starts to naturally crave what it's getting repeatedly and lots of, and it does become a habit. And it's so important in those. I nearly dropped off before the first 4 months. Remember, I was like, oh yeah, Teach, I think I'm going to cancel, because I just didn't bother. I couldn't remember to take them. I was like, this is a waste of money. Thank God I was just like, had that one last push in myself to go, stuff this, I've got all this stuff here, I'm just going to give it a go. And then I got really like mad at Josh, because he'd had his products in the truck the whole time, not taking them either. So I was like ringing him, I'm like, just take your capsules, take your bloody capsules, we're doing this, we're just going to see what happens. And then yeah, he had amazing mind-blowing results before I did, because he was always very allergic, pain, inflammation. Like, he had measurable and noticeable physical results really swiftly, and he lost like 12 to 13 kilos in just on that first run. So yeah, now we can't go a day without it. We just love it, and it makes more than sense now. It's like everyone needs it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I wanted to maybe switch gears a little bit now and just talk a bit about how the business, what value that's brought, because you didn't join until I think it was a few months after. No, even longer.
Yeah, it was a while later.
You joined after you were a customer for a while. And now you've had some time, like, to really look back in retrospect, like, how has this as a business, as a service that you provide, been for you? Like, what's the value that it's brought?
I think it's been a very like progressive, like organically progressive thing. It's more like a succulent than a business. Like, you just pop it in the garden and it'll just keep growing. You forget it's even there and it just keeps growing. So we had naturally, you get this desire when you become, like we say, a product of the product. You want to share that with people. Like, if you have a yummy donut, or you watch a good movie, or you go to an awesome resort, or you meet a really nice person, we just naturally want to share with others, like, that we care about. So before I knew it, I had some customers, and that was all good. But my initial reason for becoming an ambassador was, yes, I love these products, I adore these products, I would love to link arms with you, Tej, because you're just a legend and whatever. And as a nutritionist later on, when I'm not at home full time with the babies, it is something I would recommend to my patients wholeheartedly. That's where my head was at. But over time, as this little succulent started to spread, it became bigger than that, because when I started realizing, like, just like staying close to the fire, as we like to call it, listening to the trainings, just this curiosity in me built, and hearing people's stories, and then having this like access every single day to mentorship and empowerment and healing, like, whether it be from a business standpoint or an actual you're healing your emotional triggers, staying in alignment with your highest values, manifesting a life that you love and that is in alignment with what you want. So as those little nuggets began to grow on their own, it became like an amazing passion. And now here we are. Like I said to you earlier, in a time, an unprecedented time where most people have never felt more disconnected. And even if they don't yet, they're being forced into disconnection right now. Whereas our business naturally harnesses community and nurtures community, and building a team kind of pushes us into this regular connection because we want to support each other and help each other and grow with each other and check on each other. So we have this natural, effortless human connection with like-minded, beautiful, kind people day in, day out. Like, that's such a blessing for me. So aside from the financial aspect, and, you know, obviously people that have been in the business 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, like, they've proven the sky's the limit when it comes to financial freedom. But even just the connection and the personal growth that I've gotten makes it, I just can't believe what I paid to sign up. Like, it's ridiculous. I can't believe what I got, what I gave them, and what I got in return. You almost feel bad for it. So, but yeah, that as someone who struggled in my younger years a lot with depression and anxiety and feeling like an outcast and like a misfit and, you know, all different things, misunderstood, you know, the black sheep, whatever. It's been beautiful. It's been such a gift. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Awesome.
Yeah.
So if there was something that you want to say now, like in the scope of how things are in the world, as well as facing the world now that you're going to even have a you know, an addition to the family, what do you look forward to with this business, and you know, what are your goals moving forward that you would like to look forward to work towards?
I think you know what really, like, and you know this, like, something that I just keep coming back to emotionally and mentally is the amount of women and men, but women, because I'm a woman and a mum, who have started out in such difficult situations, or such broken situations, or such weak and helpless mindsets, no confidence, whatever. They come to this not having a single clue what they were going to achieve, and in no time at all they retired their husbands. And I no time at all in the grand scheme of things, because generally retirement takes like what, 60 years, right? 70 years according to politicians. We should work to we're 70. And here we have these beautiful women who are basically full-time homemakers, throwing down for their babies, spending every day with their children, caring and nurturing for their husband. And the most beautiful part of it is they've brought their husbands home from work. Their husbands are either, you know, by their side and supporting them, or doing the mission now with them. And that's just, they get to do that together every single day. Like someone said the other day on a training, like, she went and did the groceries and didn't have to take the kids. And she come home and it was raining, and she just called her husband and said, "Can you come help?" And he was like, "Yeah." And like, just little things like that. That's their everyday life. They have that freedom to just live. Yeah. So that's I foresee in the future, because Josh has spent his life in health and fitness. And I'm really passionate about nutrition, and we're both really passionate about freedom and connection and helping people. I really hope and look forward to this being something that we can both do together for the rest of our lives, and maybe even eventually on a full-time basis. Yeah.
And we know it's possible, right? Because the people that are teaching us, the mentors, coaches, and leaders that have gone before us, are there every week, as much as you want to plug into them, showing you, you know, step by step what to do, so that
it's non-stop. It actually becomes like, it's almost like you have to break down so much limiting beliefs, like before you even consider things. You might have heard them say something 500 times before you go, what? I could do that. You know, like you have these realizations as time goes on. Even if you start out the most skeptical, lazy, you know, uninterested person with it, as long as you're kind of plugging in and being curious, you're bound to grow and learn more. But yeah, it's phenomenal what you can do. Like we've already done it. You know, you've been doing it for 3 years, have you?
Yeah.
And now, you know, I've been on the products for a year, but, you know, getting there as an ambassador for nearly that long. And I'm already generating an income, like an actual significant income. Like I've surpassed, you know, what a part-time mum gig would do. And so we had the freedom. I was doing that part-time work, as you know, so I could donate that to Yam in Uganda and help him where I could. And Josh was basically sustaining the household on one income. That was a dream to us once. Like that was, we never ever in a million years thought that was possible. When No Jab, No Play and all those things happened and our life kind of backflipped and I walked away from traditional work and we just had to try and put it to bed and be like, we just have to do what we've got to do. We'll make this work. We honestly never thought though, like Josh had to go and work in the mines. He was gone for a month at a time just to sustain and fill that void of income. So now we're in a place where somehow being unemployed, we've still reversed that and renovated and built our nest egg and paid down debt. And now he can come home and just work a normal job. Like to us, that was the dream once. So now we have to reassess and set the bar a little higher, keep challenging ourselves. And that's why I know, like, yeah, anything's possible. And you see these, all you have to do is like show up. That's it. All you have to do is be there for people. That's it.
Yeah.
And when they need you, they'll come. It's like Macca's. Just be like Macca's. Just be there all the time at midnight, 3 a.m. Someone wants a cheeseburger.
Well, you're already doing that anyway. As the friend that you are, as you know, the daughter, the cousin, the sister that you are, you're already being that for people. Like being supportive, being available to them. But what's great is, hey, if they're interested or if they see that there is a solution here for them, you know, you're there to be their biggest cheerleader / running buddy / evolutionary partner through it, you know.
Yeah. And that's like we've got like this, you know, I used to spread Josh and I spoke about this the other day. I used to spread myself so thin. And not only did I not expect anything in return, but I often wouldn't even accept anything in return because they were my own limiting beliefs. And, you know, that's a whole other phone call really. But I really had trouble even accepting any help or love or assistance from anyone anyway. So I was so alone, even when I was around so many people, and I was pouring from an empty cup constantly. Now I feel like I haven't gained magical like additional hours in my day, but I can give so much more freely and comfortably. And I have this beautiful business and you know, Talia and Jess and this gorgeous team that's growing that are pouring back into me. And I'm so excited to receive that as well. I don't have any issues. Like, I will take all your love, bitch. Give it all to me. And it's such an awesome thing.
Yeah.
What's that? I don't know why my brain just thought of, you know, when they like have a fish pond and then the fish pond water like waters the vegetables and then somehow the vegetables circle back and feed into the fish pond.
Yeah, like permaculture. Everything is symbiotic and helping each other grow. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I think that's the kind of system it is. And so yeah, just in closing, I just wanted to say, you know, congratulations. Like that's so much evolutionary growth And that's not to say that it's been easy along every step of the way, but to be able to look back and review and see that you are growing, that you are evolving, and that it's helping you, helping your family. It's actually becoming, it's saving you when unexpected things happen, which is happening to a lot of people right now, you know, in the world.
It's what so many of us just wish, like, we know, you know, I know, a lot of like-minded people will know. We have had those times, if we're not still there, where we just look around and be like, I wish I had that. Like, I wish I had a community. Like, I wish I had support or security or something to fall back on. Like, oh, they're so lucky. They don't know how tough we've got it. And now we've got it. Like, now we've got it. And that's really special. Like,
I agree. I think it's always been there. Like, if you really look at the history of this kind of independent, being an independent distributor slash, you know, self-employed entrepreneur, it's always been around, but it hasn't been what's prolific in the mainstream system. It's always been go to school, which is no judgment, obviously got to go to school, but go to school, finish uni, finish college, get a good job. Like that whole get a good job, as if that's the only way. And we're seeing now, like, if you only have one source of income and it's through employment, that could actually be living dangerously. Like in the last 18 months, we've seen a lot of industries from hero to zero. And these are people who are using those industries, have built their livelihoods, built their reputations and careers on it. And no judgment on those industries, but you can just see that certain systems are just, you know, they're volatile. So it's really, really good to be able to have something like this that not only supports your family, but you can continue to serve others with, and it pays you and gives you.
And we still, it promotes a, like, it's a mission too. It's not just exclusive to who is in our business and who is on our customer list or whatever. Like, we're actually always helping people in general, whether it's through conversation or assistance or products where we can help, or nutrition class or whatever. We always get to be giving,
impactful. There's a positive impact in whatever kind of angle you look at it, which is great. Because I mean, I've had jobs where I felt like I was making a positive impact from the, you know, from face value, but beyond that, there were a lot of negatives to it that I kind of just had to ignore, because the most important thing was, well, look at my resume, I had that, I've done that, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, but that actually eroded my esteem, my self-esteem. It was the opposite of empowerment working there, or I had to be exposed to political games, and that's just,
what we need to talk about soon.
I know, actually we're going into a different we can save that for another time.
Years as an archaeologist, I've said to you, you don't just like randomly be an archaeologist overseas for 10 years and just never talk about that shit. Like, we need to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's for the next topic. You interview me.
Yeah, it'll get, like, I think a lot, especially for your personal circle and friends and loved ones, it'll give more insight too. I said to Jessica not long ago, like, we learn what we learn about history. You know, we might even get a little bit brave and just go a little bit further back in time. But TJ has learned, studied, and worked in a field that goes, you know, right back to Tutankhamun and what went down between, you know, Betty and Martha back then, and like corruption back then. So it's such a soul deep knowing that you possess that just gives this awesome clarity. Well, so much more. It just makes so much sense. I remember the conversations we've had about the earth cycles and the divine feminine. Like, we really have to have those chats soon, please, because it's amazing.
I definitely, I think we have a few podcast episodes lined up. We just need to get them done.
Yeah,
But thank you
let's do
so
a
much.
podcast.
Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing.
you.
And
Thank you for caring.
The reason I wanted to do this is because I think your story will resonate with people, will resonate with other mothers, resonates with me. And I mean, I'm just so happy to hear how it's changed your life. And I'm so proud to be a part of something that I can make an impact like that on other people's lives. And it's not coming, and it's just coming from the most organic, heart-driven place, you know?
Yeah.
So
I'm so grateful that you opened this up to me. Like I've said that to many people. Like if you hadn't have just plonked it in front of me, it wouldn't have even been a possibility. So I'm so grateful that you thought of me, that you thought, you know, I was worthy, but also to have found a place where everyone's so different. Like obviously not everyone's quite like Phoebe and TJ, but we all love each other so much, you know. Like
it's like the definition of unity.
Yeah. Say hi.
You know what I mean? We can be different, but we are one.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the other drama that you encounter in, again, those mainstream structures that we all have to live around, because that's where we are and that's our reality, they kind of fall away in this system. They're still there. You're not ignoring them. You're not being naive or ignorant, but they don't have as much, I don't know.
They're in the back seat. Hey, I can't explain it either.
Yeah.
When you get in alignment, like there's so many like sentences that for years I would have heard and gone like, righto, weirdo. But it's about spiritual alignment at the end of the day, because when you're in alignment with your highest values, that's where you're at. You're in alignment with your highest values. Everything else is just kind of noise, and you can really rise above that. And I used to be crippled by not feeling heard, not being understood, people just not seeing things the way I saw them. I was so focused on this stuff that really didn't matter. And I've actually managed to change more lives than ever by living in alignment with my highest values, because that's what attracts people who need that same alignment. You know what I mean? They're just like, hey, what are you doing? Can I check that out? And then they fall into alignment too, and it's just this beautiful cycle. It's like a cycle.
Well, thank you so much. I think we definitely should do this again.
100%. Hanji.
So okay, I'll stop the recording there, and